World Cup stars Olivier Giroud, Victor Moses, Cesar Azpilicueta, Andreas Christensen and Antonio Rüdiger, fresh from Russia, amongst the subs for Inter. The side is skippered by last season's joint Serie A top scorer Mauro Icardi. Just a reminder that 11 substitutes can be used by either manager, and that we will have penalties if the match ends level after 90 minutes, something which Manchester United fans will be aware of, having witnessed 26 penalty kicks in an extraordinary shootout against Internazionale's arch rivals AC Milan the other night. There's Gianfranco Zola. Chelsea fans need no introduction to him. He's been brought in as Maurizio Sarri's right-hand man, Luciano Spalletti. I'm sure looking forward to pitting his wits against Sarri, although Maurizio Sarri, in 5 of the last 6 Serie A games against Inter for Napoli, only lost 1. Chelsea are wearing a yellow change strip, attacking the goal to our right-hand side in the first half. The unmistakable figure of David Luiz, who's resisted the temptation to have a summer trim on the ball. And, well, I think this is probably the first real test of the close season for both of these clubs. Inter had a fairly informal game against Sheffield United, while Chelsea went to Australia to pay Perth glory. But this is a big encounter between 2 big clubs.
Of course it is, John, yeah, and we all want Inter Milan to get back to the heights that, you know, brought them this huge name. You know, there's 2 huge sides that used to play in the same stadium. It's now been changed, but, I mean, it's a giant of Italian football. There's no doubt about that. And you know, we mentioned the sides that they've picked, very, very strong teams. And this competition is getting stronger and stronger. I think all of the games that we've witnessed so far in this International Champions Cup have been very, very competitive, very quick. And we've seen some outstanding goals. I think every team that has taken part actually wants to go and win the thing.
It's a mistake early on by Internazionale. And here's Alvaro Morata, who's copped a bit of stick, didn't play very well in Australia, but that's a good ball by him. Early chance for Chelsea, good save. And the follow-up is scuffed by Fabregas. Well, Inter created a problem of their own making there, and Chelsea almost punished them. Here's David Luiz. Bright start by Maurizio Sarri's men. Here's Alonso. This is Ethan Ampadu, the young centre-half, whose father Kwame was also a player of some note. Zappacosta headed away firmly by Skriniar. Still not clear. This is Hudson-Odoi trying to find Barkley. It was a timely and very useful tackle by Gagliardini, but good start for Chelsea.
Excellent start. Fantastic. I think Maurizio Sarri will be very pleased with the opening couple of minutes in this game. They work it well down the left-hand side. Really good opportunity. I think it falls to Ross Barkley onto, well, if he has got a weaker foot, his left foot, but he can use everything right. He keeps it low. He gets a lot of pace on it. And he asks the question of Handanovic in that Inter Milan goal. Super start.
It's an interesting one, and one which the young Polish goalkeeper Marcin Bulka, just 18, will worry too much about. It was Icardi. I presume he was trying his luck, but it was rather misguided. Ross Barkley, who we saw a moment ago, could be a big season for him. He's had so many injury problems, only 4 appearances for Chelsea in the last campaign, but a chance for him maybe with a new boss to get a foothold. Here's Callum Hudson-Odoi, who I know everyone at Chelsea rates as one of the best prospects they've had in years. Here he is now. Strikes the shot. It's up towards Fabregas, who's beaten in the air in the end and hoofed away by De Vrij. Chelsea very busy in this opening period. Jorginho, the number 5 there, the new signing, getting a touch. Here's Pedro. It's his birthday today. He'd love to celebrate with a goal, but the danger snuffed out, and Can Emmers gets the ball away for Inter. But the first 3.5 minutes have been played almost exclusively in Inter's half. Here's Marcos Alonso, who's playing as a more traditional left back. Last season, of course, he was playing on the opposite flank from Victor Moses as a wing back. It's all changed now. Ball forward by Zappacosta to David Luiz. Again, Hudson-Odoi looking to get involved. 17 years old and very lively already in this game. Morata, it's a decent ball. Here's Pedro. And Zappacosta to the byline. Decent cutback again. It's headed away this time by Skriniar, but Fabregas has it once more for Chelsea, and they deserve the goal, and they've got it. And it's Alvaro Morata, but I don't think it's going to count. Well, he needs a goal. And it was the end of a lovely spell of pressure by Chelsea. Cross-whipped in. Morata denied the opening goal in Nice.
Well, it's a one-way contest at the moment, and it's all Chelsea. Very impressed with the start that they've made. I mentioned the start that they've made. It was a very close call from Morata. He's looking across the line, but I think the two centre-halves, Skriniar and De Vrij, maybe just stepped up, and he was probably just half a shoulder offside. But very impressed the way that they've started. They've settled into this new system, the 4 at the back, which I think helps them going forward. There's more attacking players, and when you've got the quality that they've got on show in Hudson-Odoi, very young Pedro and Morata to finish off those opportunities, he's going to get a lot of chances.
Yeah, it was clearly offside. The official got it right. Skriniar trying to get things moving for Inter, of whom we haven't seen a great deal. It's a disappointing cross from the left by Candreva, which is dealt with by Luis. Just a word about Morata. I mean, there were some unkind things said about him after the Perth Glory game. No, he didn't cover himself with glory. He only got 3 goals in his last 23 appearances last season. He's a very, very good player, as we know, but just seems to be lacking a bit of confidence that's so important for strikers.
Yeah, totally agree. But I think what he'll be worried about is it's a new manager, it's a new start. All he has to do is impress his manager, and everything else will come along with that. When you've got the quality that is around him, what's surrounding Morata, if he's going to be the out-and-out striker, he is going to be given opportunities. He looks sharp, he looks fresh from the first few minutes that we've seen, and he wants to get back on that top form where we know he belongs.
Now then, here's Candreva coming forward menacingly for Inter, and that's a decent ball, and the shot is blocked. It was hit by Roberto Gagliardini. With plenty of Chelsea players available to block the effort. But, signs of life from the Italians, who've been slow to get out of the blocks.
Good opportunity for Gagliardini. Well worked down the right-hand side. Emmers, Candreva interacting with the passing there. Ball just falls out to the edge of the area. Chelsea players, 2 or 3, closing the ball down. Not wanting to concede any goals. Off to a very bright start. Finish off this good play, if they possibly can, and get themselves on the score sheet.
Certainly been much the better team, although Inter have fond memories of facing Chelsea. They beat them in the round of 16 in the Champions League 8 years ago, and of course went on to lift the trophy under a man who both clubs know well, Jose Mourinho, who of course is part of this international Champions Cup with Manchester United over in the United States. Here's Zappacosta, another decent looking cross, maybe a little overhit, and forces a back pedal from Callum Hudson-Odoi, an Englishman of Ghanaian descent. He made his Premier League debut in January. That's another mistake by Inter. Here's Morata looking to punish them, but oh, he's done well to keep the ball in. He's looking for support. There isn't much at the moment. He still has it. He goes for goal. And the ball deflects out. And Pedro, happy birthday, 31 today, has found the net. All down to Morata's persistence and ability to keep the ball in. Back it came. Deflected to Pedro. who simply doesn't miss those opportunities. They deserve it. It's Chelsea 1, Inter Milan 0.
Well, if you ever want to send a message to your managers to say, look, I'm back, I'm sharp, I'm ready, well, Alvaro Morata has certainly done that. He doesn't give it up, he keeps the ball in play. He's got the vision, absolutely fantastic ability, takes a strike, comes out to the edge of the area, and Pedro's there waiting, as all great strikers do, find themselves in the right place at the right time. Keeps his head down, takes a little bit of a deflection. He won't worry about that. He will be claiming that goal. But what about the ability from Morata? Absolutely outstanding.
It was a terrific set-up by Morata. The save was made by Handanovic, but Pedro, who scored the winner against Perth Glory in Western Australia earlier this week, has scored again. 7 goals in his 49 games last season. Possibly would have wanted a few more, but he's sharp in the close season, it seems. Chelsea, as we said, thoroughly deserved the lead. There's an offside flag there against Candreva. But Inter haven't really got going, have they? They've been sloppy at the back. They've given away possession a couple of times. One, well, speculative is being kind effort by Icardi. They really haven't got themselves going at all.
I think sometimes, John, you have to credit the opposition, who they're playing against, and how they've started this match, which is in Chelsea. And you can talk all day long about systems, but if the players are not up for the game, then it doesn't matter what system you play. But they are certainly loving this system.
Here's Morata, who's very much up for it. Clever ball out towards Zappacosta. It was intercepted though by D'Ambrosio. Pedro again. And Pardew back to goalkeeper Marcin Bulka. Played 4 games last season in the Football League Trophy, where the Premier League teams field under 21 sides. He's a Poland under 19 international. He's got Robert Green on the bench, having joined the club from Huddersfield on Thursday. Here's Pedro. Chelsea full of life. Great run by Pedro. Cynical foul by Skriniar. He'll be fortunate to avoid a yellow card for that, you'd think. But looks like the referee's being benevolent.
Well, we want to see him a little bit lenient. Obviously, it's it's very early on. The players are obviously still trying to find their feet, but Skriniar there just sticks out his right leg. I think he knew that Pedro was going to skip past him, and if he had done, he had an opportunity on goal. But this is another set piece. They've got it just outside of the edge of the 18-yard box, and a real opportunity to get this shot on target and search for that second goal. David Luiz can take a great free kick. He's got that where you can get it over the wall. He's got that dip. I'm sure we've got a few others in their side too.
Well, Alonso is another, and he's got a great left foot, but on that occasion it was found a little bit wanting, just scooped it over the crossbar. 8 goals for him last season. I think he was the top scoring defender in the Premier League in 2017, and he's a threat from those free kicks, and will be disappointed, I think, with that one. Yeah,
well, he's got the quality. We've seen it on numerous occasions from Alonso. He's got a fantastic left foot. Just didn't get enough dip on this one. He got the curl and the direction. Just wonder, in playing in that left-back position, if he's able to get forward and find himself in the positions he found himself in last season, playing in that wing-back role, whether he gets himself up to 7 or 8 goals this season, but he has got the quality to do it.
Samoa finds Politano. This is Skriniar, whose foul went unpunished by Marcos Alonso with his free kick. Trying to find Antonio Candreva. Shadowed by Marcos Alonso, who did his job. Scored in a friendly draw with Zenit St. Petersburg earlier this summer, Antonio Candreva. Haven't won any of their warm-up games yet. Inter held by Sheffield United and Zenit, and they lost in Switzerland to Sion. Just a reminder, it's 3 points for a win in normal time. A penalty shootout win earns 2 points. If you lose the shootout, you still get a point for the draw. Away by David Luiz. Morata can't make anything of it this time. Here's Skriniar.
Well, they're yet to settle into Milan. Still think they're trying to find their feet. They're giving silly balls away. It's a little bit scrappy from their part. Gagliardini and Emmers in that central midfield area. They've not really got themselves on the ball too much other than that opportunity that Gagliardini had. And you've got to try and get the ball. They've just got to calm themselves down a little bit. Of course, they're still trying to find their feet, but I think the quicker they can get that ball up to Asamoah and Candreva out wide to show what ability they've got, then I think Icardi will probably grow into the game a little bit more, but he's a little bit stranded up there on his own right now.
Is easily defended by Internazionale. Again, they've made rather poor work at the back. That's not normally a feature of Italian sides, and certainly not of historic Internazionale sides in the past. Here's Zappacosta, just cannons it into Skriniar, who's been busy at the heart of that Inter defence in the opening 15 minutes. 15 minutes which Chelsea have utterly dominated and deservedly lead through Pedro. Gagliardini was bundled over there. Chelsea just look more up for it, don't they? Winning all the 50-50s.
They do, and that's all credit to the players, obviously coming back and working hard. I think one of the players that I've been very impressed with and looks sharp. Now, I always think he looks as if he carries a little bit of weight, but Ross Barkley, he started the game very sharp. He had that strike with his left foot. Looks as if he shed the pounds, and he's ready for a tough slog in the Premier League this season.
It's a better looking ball by Inter, but Icardi is beaten to the punch by Bulka. Politano was the provider. Politano on loan from Sassuolo. Decent ball. You can see what he was trying to do. Goalkeeper out quickly. No harm done for Chelsea. There's Jorginho. Despite his Brazilian descent, Jorginho is a naturalised Italian. Played his whole career in Italy for Verona and Napoli. Obviously highly regarded by the man who's brought him with him to Chelsea, Maurizio Sarri. Ball forward by Gagliardini, intercepted by Luis, and Morata is off again. Now he's got support here from Pedro, who looks for a second, or tries to set up Morata. Neither is the result, and the ball goes away behind. Unselfish by Pedro. Morata still frustrated in that search for a goal.
Great little turn from Morata. He got on the front foot. He was a little bit unselfish. He could have taken the shot on, as could Pedro. Again, tries to pull it back into that 6-yard box, but he just plays it a little bit behind Morata, who got himself near the 6-yard area. But every time they pick up the ball and they get themselves turned and running at this this back four of Inter Milan, they look very dangerous, Chelsea.
Easy header clear by David Luiz. Here's Callum Hudson-Odoi, but he's lost out to D'Ambrosio. Alonso, though, able to tidy up for Chelsea. Have been very impressive, both defensively and particularly going forward so far.
The last couple of years, I think Marco Alonso has certainly made himself. Oh, there's just an opportunity. Oh, they're giving the ball away. He's certainly made himself into one of the best full-backs or wing-backs in world football. He's been outstanding.
Young Ethan Empadu going down there with a slight injury to his ankle after that coming together with Asamoah. He's up again on his feet now. I must say, if there were any awards for the most hirsute central defensive partnership, David Luiz and Ethan Empadu would certainly win it with their flowing locks. He's another player who's very, very highly regarded. He made his debut as a 16-year-old for Exeter City. Here's Icardi. Attempted back heel doesn't find its way through to Emmers. And Pardew is able to clear. He's made one Premier League appearance as well as a substitute against Huddersfield back in December. Chelsea have a long history of producing very, very good youth teams plucked from all around the globe, but Hudson-Odoi is English and Pardew is Welsh. He's already got a full cap for Wales as well. Here's Dalbert, the Brazilian attacking fullback, as they so often are from that neck of the woods. Doesn't work for him that time. He's never scored a senior goal, Dalbert, but he's created a few. There's Ampadu again. This little touch by Pedro. Chelsea look very, very comfortable at the moment with almost 20 minutes gone.
Playing the game at the right tempo, a very good tempo. Every time they pick up the ball, they've got options on the ball. This fellow on the ball, Odoi, Hudson-Odoi, looks the real deal. He's got every trick in the book. Absolutely thrilled to watch him.
I was working with Clive Walker late last season, great name from Chelsea's past strike, and he was saying that he reckons Callum Odoi is the best youngster he's ever seen at Stamford Bridge, which is high praise indeed.
Absolutely.
Here's Candreva. Might have a crack here, does! And almost sets up a goal for Icardi, who, sharp as ever, was a fox in the box, but got the touch that, unfortunately for him, took it wide.
Super effort. I think Candreva, as he picks this ball up, he just drives towards that 18-yard box. It's more of a shot come cross. And a typical striker who scores a lot of goals, Icardi, he's not going to give that up. He gets in between the two centre-halves. He stretches out those toes, tries to get anything on at all. Just misses a couple of inches. It's the first sign of Inter Milan really getting into gear.
I do get the impression it was a shot by Candreva. Here's Barkley at the other end, finding Zappacosta on the overlap. It's been another entertaining game. The quality of these games has been absolutely excellent in this tournament so far. Here's David Luiz. Now Jorginho, who looks to be playing the N'Golo Kante role in Chelsea's midfield, and Kante not here, although Giroud, his fellow World Cup winner, is on the bench. Luiz forward, Pedro. Again, Chelsea are quicker to the loose ball. Here's Morata. Wants to go for goal. To be fair, it might have been a better option to pick out Hudson-Odoi to his left, but you just see there how keen he is to find the net.
Yeah, looks very sharp. Must admit, Morata, we know he's got quality feet and he's obviously very good in the air, but when he gets himself turned and he's driving at you, then he's a real threat. Fantastic ability early on in the game just to set up Pedro there. But he takes the strike on. It's a very acute angle, but why not? He made the opportunity himself. He wants to get on the score sheet. As it just falls out to Pedro, all he has to do is just lock that ankle and just aim towards the target. Skriniar gets the last touch on it, but I don't think he can really take that away from Pedro. Very impressive start from Chelsea.
Yes, Luciano Spalletti is looking suitably anxious as we reach the quarter mark in the game. And it's been pretty one-way traffic, really. Luiz with the header away. Here he is again. David Luiz, not in Brazil's World Cup squad, having captained them in 2014 on home soil. Another mistake by Inter. They've been ragged with the ball at their feet, haven't they, at times? Here's Barkley, who, as you say, looks a little bit more svelte than perhaps before. That's not a very good ball, though, by the former Everton man. Joined Chelsea for 15 million at the start of last season, but barely figured. He was taking a bit of a gamble coming out that far, but does well.
Talking across Barkley, you know, his season or his Chelsea career needs to get going. You know, a slow start. He'll be the first one to admit that. He, you know, he's had that big injury as he left Everton Football Club. He walked into obviously a bigger club than Everton, with no disrespect to those, and you've got to try and hit the ground running. You know, obviously world-class players everywhere around you, and you have to impress, not just on the football field, but in training every single day. The managers are watching. You've got to be sharp. I say it looks as if so far, coming back from his holidays, he looks very, very sharp.
Yes, Hudson-Odoi. Barkley's one of those midfielders who, at one point in his career when he was very young, along with the likes of Jack Rodwell and Jack Wilshere, was seen very much as the big future of England, and it just hasn't panned out that way at all. He is an England international, of course, Barkley, but I'm sure Gareth Southgate will be watching with interest to see how he develops. Jack Wilshere, of course, has decided to change as good as a rest and gone to West Ham. Here's Ampadu for Chelsea. Barkley again. Does well and finds Morata. Hudson-Odoi outside him. He's coming towards Pedro. Little flick towards Fabregas, his compatriot from Spain. Fabregas has done well here, and Morata again is on the prowl. No foul there. Skriniar gives it away. Alonso, I don't think, got a touch. It's a Chelsea throw. 25 minutes played at the Allianz Riviera in this beautiful part of the world. The Mediterranean lapping onto the golden sands not too far away.
Yeah, we see Morata going to ground. It's been very, very scrappy from Inter Milan. Skriniar has made some silly challenges. One on Pedro, now this time on Morata. Has to be very, very careful. As we've seen in a few of these games in this tournament so far, the referees can go straight into the pocket and pick out yellows. You have to be just careful.
I like to see the referees treating these games the same as any other game, in the sense that you know, the players know their responsibilities when they come onto the field. They're not walking on thinking, well, I can get away with anything. I admire the fact that the referees have not necessarily been lenient. Gianfranco Zola, you got a shot of there, just having a little chat as they take some drinks. Let's have another look at the goal. And, well, we've said it before, but Morata there, brilliant stuff. And he didn't have too many options there, so a shot was probably the best thing. And the keeper off his chest, and Pedro, well, we know what Pedro does from those sort of situations. Well,
it's wonderful ability for Morata. You know, I come from a mistake. He picks up the ball and he's got that desire to take on defenders. Left foot, right foot, wonderful chop. Gets himself into that acute angle. And you're right, there's nobody in the area, so why not take that shot on? You made the opportunity yourself, and then you get that bit of fortune. When the ball pops out to Pedro and he just puts it into the back of the net. But it's nothing that they didn't deserve, Chelsea. They've been the better side by far. You're just wondering how sharp these Inter Milan players are, but they're maybe still finding their feet. We talked about Skriniar at the back making a couple of mistakes, whether he's up to 100% fitness at the moment, but they have to try and find that as quick as they possibly can, because these seasons are coming around thick and fast.
Yep, they got a pretty busy schedule. Inter Milan in this competition. They face Lyon in Italy next, and then Atletico Madrid right at the end of it in Spain. We've also got the Serie A season kicking off on August the 19th against Sassuolo. Chelsea play Arsenal in Dublin, Lyon at Stamford Bridge, and then they have the Community Shield against Premier League champions Manchester City. Their first Premier League game is a trip to Huddersfield on August the 11th. So things are starting to hot up after the summer break. Here come Inter looking to get themselves back into the game. Very good tackle by Alonso, though, to deny Icardi, who is the danger man, of course. And Chelsea try and spring forward with Callum Hudson-Odoi. Looks a very confident boy. Morata, Barkley. This is good play by Chelsea. Hudson-Odoi with a bit of space down this flank. Not afraid to take it on and shoot. Handanovic fairly easily in the end able to save, but just a glimpse of how confident and talented this boy is.
It's great to see 17 years old with the confidence. I admire his pass or the little bit of ability that we're seeing. He wants to get on the end of it and get that ball into the final third. Yes, it wasn't a very good effort at the end of it, but he made it himself. He got it onto his right foot, just needed to curl it a little bit more, get a bit more pace on it. You keep giving yourself opportunities like that, you will score goals. Fantastic play.
Yeah, excellent play. He was part of the England team that won the Under-17 World Cup in India towards the end of last year. Strong tackle on Emmers, but credit to the Belgian. He's come away with the ball and he's found Candreva. His cross is too high.
Gonna have better quality than that, Candreva. We know he has got that quality. He gets into that final third. He's just tried to chop it onto his right foot and put a ball into the area. There isn't many Inter Milan players in the area for him to pick out. You've got to have that quality. Keep the ball in play.
31 now, Candreva. Over 450 career appearances for him. Here's Ross Barkley for Chelsea, again aware of the presence of Jorginho, who's knitted in quite well so far. Here's Hudson-Odoi, who's been outstanding. Very clever ball in towards Pedro, cut out by Skriniar. Half an hour played. Very much going Chelsea's way. Might even be disappointed they haven't added to the 1-0 scoreline, really. Such has been their dominance. There's Alonso. Barkley again showing good feet. So too far in front of Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's not afraid of telling the senior figure, David Luiz, what he thought of that rather poor delivery.
I'd like to see that. He's a young man, he's in the same setup, he's in the same starting 11, so why not? If you want that quality and it doesn't come, you let them know if they're making mistakes.
I don't think David Luiz could have too many arguments, really. He's 14 years Hudson-Odoi's senior. 14 years the senior of this man on the ball as well, Ampadu. Here's Barkley. Relative elder statesman at 24.
It's crazy, isn't it, when you think of Ross Barkley? I know he's had injuries and we were looking for that midfield player, maybe even in the World Cup, although we did get to the semi-final, to maybe break down a back four with that little bit of quality, can see a pass into the final third. So it is certainly not over for him as an international career without any stretch of the imagination. He has got the quality to get back in there, he just needs to play more.
Here's Jorginho trying to find Alonso. Would have flicked up off D'Ambrosio. It's a Chelsea corner. What do you make of Jorginho so far in his first sort of major role with Chelsea?
I believe he was very impressive in the game against Perth Glory. It's going to be interesting to see how they fit all of the players, and if you think Kante is coming back into the team, if they're going to have that one holding midfield player, how they're going to select and where they're going to play them, because we know Kante is obviously can do a lot more than sit in front of a back four. We saw that in the World Cup, and we've seen it for the last couple of seasons in the Premier League. You know, 2 titles in the last 3. But they're quality players, and I think Sarri will want that type of squad. He knows that he's got great players and they want to keep improving. And it's finding the right balance, the right system that is going to suit the players that he had at his disposal.
Been about 3 years for Kante, has it? Premier League with Leicester, Premier League with Chelsea, World Cup with France. Here's Asamoah. That's a good ball. This is Politano. Need to do a bit more of this Inter Milan. Candreva's cross. Oh, Ampadu rather sliced at it, but the job was done. It's a corner to the Italians.
Better play. Starting to up the ante a little bit, getting the ball out wide and putting better crosses into the area. Asking questions of this back four of Chelsea. Ampadu there, the ball probably just skidded off the grass. As a defender, what you're trying to do is just get any part of your body on it and make sure it stays away from your goal, so job done.
Well, we do have Mauro Icardi, who's a dangerous player, and he's one of the players in the box, punched by the goalkeeper Bulka. Back in it comes from Dalbert, away by Alonso, and then a volley hit with venom, but not with much accuracy by Candreva.
Oh, Candreva just a little bit disappointed there. Comes onto his weaker foot, his left foot, as the ball comes back into the area. I thought he had time to get the ball down and have a touch and maybe put it onto his stronger right foot. Took the shot on. And the quality, on a couple of occasions we've seen that from him in the first half. The quality just hasn't been there with that final touch of the ball.
Scoring 39 appearances last season, Candreva, which for a wide attacking midfield player is cause for concern.
He's one of those players, I think he likes to stay towards the byline, and that's probably why he doesn't get the goals that maybe he should if he wants to get him to that, let's say, next level.
It's another mistake. Here's Barkley. You can see what he was trying to do. He wanted to pick out the run of Pedro, but wasn't quite on the same radar as the Spaniard. That's a foul by Jorginho. He's going to be spoken to.
Don't think Jorginho was very happy with that ability there. I think it was Asamoah who was out playing on this left-hand side. Great ability, he had 3 Chelsea players around him. Wonderful skill. Tried to just skip the ball past Jorginho. And the foul came in. You have to be careful of that when the Premier League starts, because he will get himself in the book on numerous occasions.
Yeah. Perhaps fortunate not to have done so there. 10 minutes to go to half-time. Chelsea still lead through Pedro's 8th minute goal. Scored on his 31st birthday, his 2nd successive goal in summer fixtures. They've looked pretty comfortable on that lead, Chelsea, so far, without, it has to be said, creating too many chances to double it. Keeper Handanovic has made one low save from Hudson-Odoi. Other than that, reasonably untroubled. Chelsea have certainly been the better side. Here's Gagliardini. Forward by De Vries. That's nicely done by Candreva. So is that. Real chance here. And it's fired wide. It was a really decent effort by Politano. Candreva did really well. First touch excellent. Icardi left it because he felt maybe Politano was in a better position, but Politano fired it off target.
Better quality from Inter. Again, working the ball down this right-hand side. It was a long ball. Candreva gets the better of Alonso with pace. Gets his head up. It's a pull back to the edge of the 18-yard box, and Politano just gets his strike completely wrong. It falls to his left foot. And you're waiting for that moment just to strike it with your laces and give Bulka real problems in that Chelsea goal. Just missed the target completely.
Did get 11 goals for Sassuolo last season, and also his first cap for Italy. Here's Hudson-Odoi, that's overcooked. Politano faced Saudi Arabia in May for the Azzurri for the first time. It's going to be a big season for him on loan.
Politano has to show better quality than that, John. You know, you don't get too many opportunities like that where there's no pressure on your strike. You know, you can pick your spot. The goalkeeper's kind of stranded Bulka in that Chelsea goal. You know, do you play it to the left-hand side, the right-hand side? But the first and foremost, first thing that goes through your mind is, I have to hit the target.
There was a little glance by Icardi as if to say, perhaps I shouldn't have left it.
Yeah.
Because given his goal-scoring record, he'd have probably made a better fist of it, but it was unselfish by the centre-forward, and that man couldn't take advantage. Good work, though, by Candreva to set it all up. Stays 1-0. That's Inter's best moment, really, of the half. Bulka looks fairly sorted keeper with his feet, doesn't he? He's had one punch rather than catch aerially, but that's brilliant by Pedro. And he's on his way. He's got Ampadu and Alonso for company here. Here is Hudson-Odoi. Now Alonso. Don't fancy this, weaker foot. And off target.
Get back in your position, Marco. Stick with the left foot. Very good play, outstanding ability from Pedro. Great little flick through the midfield area. But he just wants to get the ball down on the ground and use that pace and drive forward. He plays it out wide to Hudson-Odoi, eventually gives it back to Alonso. I think when that shot was on there, you know, he just seen the bright lights. I think he maybe should have taken one more pass, but I've been impressed with Chelsea. Change of system, they've certainly worked in it. When they come back for the pre-season training, they're now taking it into these physical games, which is really impressive, and they've settled into it very well.
Here's Kwadwo Asamoah, new signing from Juve. Left by Politano for Candreva. Shot is hit again with reasonable venom, but the direction was never going to trouble Marcin Bulka, who let it run past his post.
I think it's one of those, it's a dive from Marcin Bulka across to his left-hand side. He knew all along that he had that covered. It wasn't really threatening the goal, the strike. I think you mentioned him a second ago, John, but he does. He looks very comfortable as a goalkeeper with the ball at his feet, as most goalkeepers do now. Seems to be a trend. You're not just a goalkeeper with your feet. You have to be very comfortable and start playing out from the back, because a lot of the sides in the Premier League are certainly going that way now.
Looks like he's been coached that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's Fabregas, and now Luis. Here's Sarri in broken English saying, "Good Pedro, move the ball." Well, he's been obviously taking some lessons. I'm not sure how good his English is.
He's also said that he wants to see his players playing happy. So far,
well,
from what we've seen, they have a smile on their face.
They do. Pedro to Hudson-Odoi. Can they finish the half even happier with a goal? Alonso. Now Jorginho. Zappacosta. Keeping it nicely, Chelsea. Fabregas. And again.
Continua a giocare Alvaro, non ti fermare lì. Vieni Alvaro, vieni.
It's a shame that Pedro let that slip under his feet. Chelsea had put together 15 or 20 passes up to that point. Oof. Well, Handanovic showing that he can play a bit as well.
Not bad.
He's put Morata on his backside. That will not please the centre forward one bit, will it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Alvaro Morata was running it, what 75–80%. He wanted to close down Handanovic in that Inter Milan goal. Great skill from the goalkeeper. Feinted to clear the ball, just chopped it back in towards his goal, and off you go and you start playing. We see the slip from Morata, and that is things that centre forwards do not like to do.
I think a fair amount of dressing room stick may follow.
Possibly, unless he gets himself on the score sheet.
Well, maybe they want to be kinder to him. He has played well, to be fair. Morata had a huge part in the goal, and he's generally looked like a player who's trying not to let the problems that he've had burden him down. Certainly the first 15 minutes he was very aggressive, very positive.
We just wonder with Morata if he's ever came under this criticism before in his career, you know, gone through a period of time of not scoring a goal in a Chelsea shirt and being left out of the team. how much that can, can get a player down. You're in a different country. It's always difficult.
It's hit by Politano, who again has managed to miss the target.
Politano, I think, has left his shooting boots at home. He's put somebody else's on because their build-up play starting to get better. It's a little bit quicker. I think the tempo's starting to, the players are obviously filling their lungs. They're getting that all-important minutes under their belt. And they're getting themselves into better areas now. They're finding the gaps in between this new system of Chelsea. But the shots, when they are coming in, are coming in from 25, 30 yards out. They have to try and work the ball a little bit better and find better areas to give themselves a chance of getting that equalising goal. Space out wide here for Alonso. And now Barkley. I think was eyeing a volley at one point there, but it didn't quite break for him. This is Candreva for Inter on the counter. It's a good run too. And here's Icardi. And again he's unselfish, or tried to be, and well, you'd have fancied him to shoot. Instead he's trying to set up Politano, and just wondering whether he thinks now he's made the wrong decision. It's not like Icardi not to take an opportunity on, and it was all set up for him. Good play again from Candreva down that right-hand side. He waited for the movement of Icardi. He got himself that, half a yard of space. And when it comes to him, as a centre-forward, you bought into a club to score goals, not to set up other players. I think he needed to be a bit more selfish there and take the strike on. Especially given that Politano had wasted the two opportunities that had come his way hitherto. Icardi has scored in 2 of the warm-up games. He was one of the scorers in the 3-3 draw against Zenit St. Petersburg. He also got the goal at Bramall Lane against Sheffield United. Inter were very, very rapturously received by the Sheffield United fans, who were delighted to have a club of that stature playing at Bramall Lane. Here's Ethan Ampadu. We're in the last minute. In fact, we're into 2 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first half. It's a first half that Chelsea have thoroughly dominated, and a game which they've led since the 8th minute, when Pedro netted after excellent work by Morata. For Morata again, the flick header was by Stefan de Vries, the former Feyenoord defender, who was part of the Dutch squad in the last World Cup. Actually scored in that famous 5-1 win over Spain, the one in which Robin van Persie's flying header became an iconic moment. Super header. Knight drawing in on the Côte d'Azur. Says Fabregas with the corner. He's held it up towards David Luiz, who's done really well to keep that alive, but then not so well with the subsequent cross, although there is a corner off the boot of Skriniar. It was a little bit of a scrappy work corner. They work a little 1-2, they get the ball into the area, but it's too floaty, I think. To cause more problems to this back four of Inter Milan, you've got to put it into a danger area, the 6-yard box, so somebody can go and run and attack it. But Luiz had to change his run. This will probably be the last chance of the half. Fabregas corner, header by Luiz, thumped away by Skriniar. That is the last action of the opening half. 45 minutes in which Chelsea, International Champions Cup tie between Chelsea and Inter Milan. As you can see, Chelsea have the lead, and deservedly so. Many more shots. Inter haven't managed one on target yet. Only surprise perhaps is that Inter had as much as 45% of the ball, because it didn't feel like that in the first half. Impressed with Chelsea so far in that first 45 minutes. They've settled into this new system very well. Two full-backs, Alonso and Zappacosta, trying to get forward as much as they possibly could to make up the numbers for the midfield players and the guys playing in front of them. But I think impressively, the young guys who've came into the team, even Bulka, although he's not really had a lot to do in that Chelsea goal, but Ampadu and Hudson-Odoi really impressed me. Young 17-year-old men, and they've settled into this side very, very well. They both look sharp.
Well, they're smiling, the Italian fans, at half-time, no doubt enjoying the sunshine of the Riviera, although it is a little too hot for some. But on the pitch, it's been disappointing from them. And those Chelsea supporters will have enjoyed the opening 45 minutes far more than their Italian counterparts. Some wearing the England shirt there, celebrating the fact that England reached the semi-finals, played in the third-place playoff 2 weeks ago against Belgium. It seems longer than that now, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Luciano Spalletti has probably had a word with his players at half-time to say, look, you know, I need more. I need you to look a little bit sharper. Got to give something. Getting that final third. Let's show a little bit more confidence. Let's try and hit the target. They've got themselves into some very good positions, but unfortunately, they've not really tested that Chelsea goal as of yet.
Well, this competition allows for 11 substitutions per match, and Chelsea have decided to make 3 at half-time. Timur Bakayoko, who you saw a moment ago, Danny Drinkwater and Cesar Azpilicueta are on for Antonio Rudiger, Cesc Fabregas and Ross Barkley. We'll confirm the Inter subs when we have them, as the teams come back out for the second period. Floodlights now at this Allianz Riviera Arena. Old friendships being reunited. There's Danny Drinkwater, who celebrated the title with Leicester City in 2016 before moving to Chelsea. He's on for the second half. Well, Maurizio Sarri, Mickey, I think will have quite enjoyed delivering his first meaningful half-time team talk, because there wasn't too much to complain about, was there?
And learning English, as we heard, as the first half was going on. So, yeah, very impressed. He said to his players that he wants them to play happy. Well, for 45 minutes, it looked as if they had a smile on their face. They were enjoying the football. And I'm certain that we're going to get this in the second 45 minutes, even though they have made changes.
Yeah, Lautaro Martinez, the Argentinian frontman, is coming on as referee Nicolas Rainville gets the second half underway. Chelsea in a change strip of all yellow. The Nerazzurri, of course, in blue and black stripes. They've been, if not beaten black and blue, they've certainly been out-fought and out-thought in the first half. They need to improve. There's an early chance perhaps for them to do that. There's Asamoah, D'Ambrosio, and now Politano. They've got an early corner.
But to start from Politano, first and foremost, in this second half, it looks as if he's drifted across to that right-hand side to use that left foot of his.
Only their second corner, it's in towards the near post. And still might be a chance here for the player who's just come on, Martinez, and then it's fired in by Politano, and Willy Caballero, who's also on as a Chelsea substitute in the second half, saved Politano's shot.
Yeah, good strike. First shot on target. There's a little test for Caballero.
Should have
Get
held
down
it
very
maybe.
low.
Caballero there, I think. Anyway, played in the World Cup, of course, for Argentina. Here's the corner. It's a positive start to the second half by Inter. Politano finding Asamoah. Eventually it's knocked away by David Luiz. Here's Jorginho, new signing for Chelsea. And Danny Drinkwater's on the ball now for the first time. This is Pedro, the goal scorer. Alonso took his eye off the ball, got rather lucky there, but now finds himself rather boxed in. Hudson-Odoi unable to return the ball to Marcos Alonso.
Good strength there.
give away. They were sloppy at times on the ball. Inter have got away with it this time. The goal itself came as another giveaway. They were sloppy at times on the ball. Inter have got away with it this time. The goal itself came due to careless piece of play in midfield. Politano has knocked it far too long for Antonio Candreva. He tested Caballero. It's Inter's only shot on target of the game, that one that Caballero rather scrambled round the post. This time it's Chelsea's turn to give it away. And they've given it away to Mauro Icardi, who again is unselfish. And it was a good decision because the ball has been rattled into the net by Roberto Gagliardini. And Inter Milan are level. Chelsea losing the ball in midfield. On a couple of occasions in the first half, Icardi was unselfish and it didn't pay off. And this time it did. Gagliardini fires in. Caballero's only been on for 4 minutes. He's already beaten. It's Chelsea 1, Inter Milan 1.
And it comes from a mistake from one of the new boys who came on in the second half, Bakayoko. Just trying to play a simple 5-yard pass back to a midfield player. Gives the ball away. Great play from Icardi. Again, unselfish, just plays the ball into Gagliardini. Keeps his head down. Second shot on target. Caballero saved the first one, which he should have done. This one, he just tries to drive across to his left-hand side. Gets his body position completely wrong, but take nothing away from the strike. There was a lot of pace on it. And all of that play from Chelsea in the first half, all that possession, shots on target. He basically won every stat in front of the board. But the most important one now is 1-1.
Yeah. Trying to make it 2-1 though here with Marcos Alonso. Cross is cleared. Gagliardini didn't manage a goal in the whole of last season in the league, but he's got one in the International Champions Cup. And it means, of course, that we do have the prospect of penalty kicks. Just to remind you, there's no extra time at the end if it's level, but we'll go straight to a shootout. The Manchester United AC Milan shootout actually lasted longer than a period of extra time, would you believe? Finished 9-8 with, I think it was 9 missed. Extraordinary climax to that match the other night. Kept the fans up much longer than they had expected. Well, Maurizio Sarri will be annoyed with this, won't he? Because they were absolutely on top. I'm sure he's given them encouraging words at half-time, but they've switched off and allowed Inter back into it.
You normally get this scenario where you're so much on top in a game that you don't really want half-time to come. You want the players to stay out and show the confidence and the sharpness that they have done for 45 minutes, but they've went in for half-time. They've had their drinks, a little bit of a team talk from Sarri. And as they've come out in this second half, it's been a little bit scrappy. The players that have come onto the field, Bakayoko, I mentioned that mistake with his first touch of the ball, and they got punished for it.
Oh, that's a poor touch as well by Bakayoko. He really didn't settle into English football at all, did he? Arriving as he did at the beginning of the last season, having won the title with Monaco, but signs are already here that the confidence has not returned.
Players can come with high expectations, and we saw the season that he had with Monaco. He looked so adept, so comfortable and confident in the position he was playing in. And then let's not forget, you come to the Premier League, which, you know, ups the ante 15-20% every single game, and maybe it was a little bit too quick for him. And from the signs we've seen so far since he's taken to the field, just very scrappy, giving the ball away.
And that's an injury picked up by Danilo Ambrosio, or rather Skriniar, I should say, who didn't appear to suffer any contact, so that'll be a slight worry for Inter.
It was a stamp on his foot, John, from Morata. It was an accident, but I think he's okay.
Here's the goal scorer, Gagliardini. Tackle was by Bakayoko. Here's D'Ambrosio, and now Asamoah. Here's Danny Drinkwater for Chelsea, who've got it all to do again, having dominated the first half. This is Ampadu, the 17-year-old centre-half, finding Morata, who's claiming he was held, and the referee concurs.
I just wonder where that guile is going to come from these three midfield players that Chelsea have on the field now, with Jorginho, Drinkwater and Bakayoko. All very good defensive midfield players who can break up play and bring in the quality in front of them. But when you're taking people like Fabregas off and Barkley, it's always going to be difficult to get that fluidity through the team.
Not a great clearance by Caballero, had his moments during the World Cup, good and bad.
Good. Come on, Barca, come on.
There's D'Ambrosio. Inter looking the more confident team, certainly in this second period, now nearly 9 minutes old. They've got the goal they wanted, and they as if they might get another. Here's Dalbert. That's beautiful cutback, and Icardi again, every time he gets the ball, he seems keen to lay it off to someone else, which is surprising for a player who scored 29 goals last season. But to be fair to him, it was the right decision, allowing Gagliardini to equalise. Here's Politano. And they're opening up Chelsea here. It's Dalbert again. Well, he's never scored for Inter, but he had to go there, and Azpilicueta was in the way.
They're starting to find gaps into Milan now. And I think what they're trying to do is capitalise on this system that Chelsea are playing. Three very tight, narrow midfield players now. The players I just mentioned. So it's easier for the full-backs to break forward and find that space and create the opportunities for Inter Milan, because they're getting so much space now to pick their head up. They're picking out the passes from Icardi, who's driving into that 18-yard box. Gilardini now getting himself into better areas. I think they've changed the midfield around as well. Asamoah looks as if he's playing a lot more narrow, and Politano out on this right-hand side. So they certainly changed the players around. Similar system, maybe just to see what they're like in those positions, see how comfortable they feel.
Well, credit to Luciano Spalletti, they've turned the game around as well. Chelsea far from comfortable, which they certainly were walking down the tunnel not 15 minutes ago.
Maurizio Sarri, I think, has a few concerns now. He's tried to change it up. He obviously wants to see a lot more than what he saw in the first 45 minutes, but as of yet, well, that passing that we did see hasn't really come to the fore in this second half. It's slow, it's languid. Need to see a bit more movement from Chelsea.
Hudson-Odoi might pep it up here. It's another good move in field by the 17-year-old. But nowhere to go. Back it comes to David Luiz. Pedro. Did that take a touch before it crossed the line? It did, I think. Dalbert sliding in. Not sure who that came off last, Azpilicueta or Dalbert. According to the officials, it's a Brazilian defender who's conceded a corner. And Danovic waits. Easy claim for him. In his 7th season with Inter Milan after joining them from Udinese. 4th most capped player in Slovenian history, the Inter goalkeeper. Skriniar. Away to Alonso. Now Pedro. It's not a very good ball by the Spaniard. Chelsea have been sloppy in this opening period of the second half, to say the least. Here's Jorginho, though. And now Pedro trying to find Morata. And Handanovic got there just ahead of the Spaniard.
Better understanding from Pedro. Morata just needed a better pass. Always the hardest pass, the through ball. Plays it in between the full-back and the centre-half, but just gets a little bit too much on it for Morata to break into that 6-yard box. The movement's starting to win, but they've had a real shock.
Hudson-Odoi. Bakayoko. Hudson-Odoi again showing some lovely skill. The youngsters in the crowd enjoyed that. Here's Ampadu, a youngster himself. Chelsea beginning to put things together here. Ampadu. Pedro's on the move. And he's got past Skriniar very easily there. It's good play by Pedro. Bit unlucky with the way the ball rolled, and Skriniar has atoned.
Good play from Pedro. Taking on Skriniar, who looks like a nightmare waiting to happen every time the ball goes anywhere near him. You know, whether he's going to bring a player down. Looks very sloppy, but to his credit, he got himself turned round and he got himself into a good position to win the ball back. Played it out nice and neatly from the back. The passing's not been as crisp. You know, Inter Milan have a lot more possession than what they did have in the first half, but still, you know, it's what you do with it. You can keep the ball for 30 or 40 passes, but you've got to try and break the lines.
Here's Politano. A couple of shots wide in the first half. This is Dalbert, who loves to get forward. He's left it though for Candreva. Looks too long.
One of the players that we mentioned in that midfield for Inter Milan, Candreva, who worked out on that right-hand side in the first half, has now drifted over to the left-hand side. So trying to use that stronger right foot of his, chops back onto his right foot, gets a little bit of pace on this cross, but yeah, it's just a little bit too far. He's got to try and work on his quality. I think he's been in some really good positions. He has to get better. Bit
of a slice by Caballero. Doesn't fall for Hudson-Odoi. Instead, it's Inter who have it. That's a lovely ball out towards Politano. Good tackle, though, by Alonso, who's back on the ball here, if he can remember to bring it with him. Another strong challenge, though. No quarter being taken or given here. This is a really good chance for Inter. And it was a clever little swivelling run by Martinez. And Ampadu was there and just urging his defenders to concentrate more. Rather like Hudson-Odoi in the first half, not afraid to make himself heard, the 17-year-old, when needed. Some might portray it as arrogance, but I think you made the point in the first half that they're confident enough to you know, have a go when things need to be said.
If you're good enough to play, you're in that starting 11, then you've got your divine right, if the pass isn't there for you, to have a go at your teammates who are playing with you. You've merited your opportunity.
Oh, he's given it away there, though. And here's Asamoah with the back heel. Might come out to Gagliardini again. Oof. Well, a couple of times this evening, Willy Caballero's handling has not looked particularly confident. That was another. No harm done. But could have gone anywhere.
Yeah, he's looked very shaky, Caballero. I'm right in saying, I think in the World Cup we did lose his place a couple of games, and he's getting back into the team today and looks very shaky as the ball's coming into his hands. And I wonder what he's thinking himself about his future. You know, they just brought in Robert Green. We saw Bulker in the first 45 minutes. Maybe he's thinking he's playing for his future, or some here, or maybe even somewhere else.
Here's Bakayoko for Chelsea, finding Pedro. This is Drinkwater. Caballero made his Argentina debut at the age of 36 and ended up at a World Cup. But, he looks shaky tonight, that's for sure. Here's Morata. Foul on him, free kick Chelsea. He doesn't agree.
That's what we call a soft foul. I think Morata knows that the challenge is coming. There's a bit of a hand on the shoulder. He's gone to ground.
I would agree.
This is another opportunity. We saw the first half with Alonso with that left foot. Well, it looks like David Luiz is standing over this one. We talked about that quality that he has from these free kick situations. Well, this is in the perfect position for him. He can choose whichever angle he likes. Just needs to convert that quality that we know he has got and test the goalkeeper.
And we've seen him score from this sort of range before. David Luiz. This one not quite as effective. It'll win a corner. Chelsea are about to bring on a quintet of substitutes. They may want to take the corner first with what they've got before they start thinking about that. Danny Drinkwater's gone across. Luiz with the effort, which I don't think, even if the wall hadn't deflected, it would have troubled Handanovic. Here's Pedro. Too long. Well, that's a rather disappointing conclusion to that Chelsea corner, but it will allow the substitutes to come on. Among them, World Cup stars Andreas Christensen and Victor Moses. So there is Emerson, the recent signing from Roma last season. Alonso is the first to make his way across off the field. Emerson will be his replacement at left back. So there is Antonio Rudiger. Morata is another whose night is over in terms of playing time. Ditto David Luiz. And Ethan Ampadu, he's done pretty well, hasn't he, the young man, Mickey, tonight?
He certainly has. Certainly has, young man. He's had that experience of first-team football. Looks very comfortable on the ball. Young Welsh international. He's going to be a real hit in a Chelsea shirt over many, many years.
Pedro can start thinking about tucking into his birthday cake, having given Chelsea the lead on 8 minutes, but since seen it eradicated. So that's almost an entire change of team from the one which started for Maurizio Sarri, determined to have a good look at everybody who's available to him, a couple of them back from the World Cup. Still just the one sub from Internazionale, with Martinez replacing Immers. Here's Christensen, played for Denmark in Russia. And knocked out in the round of 16 by Croatia on penalties, agonisingly for him. He could get penalties tonight because it will be the outcome if it stays 1-1.
It's good for the players that they've got a lot of minutes under their belt, which is very important. Taking this very, very seriously. They want to try and finish this game with a win if they possibly can. Chelsea have freshened it up in a lot of positions now, as we've seen in this tournament. The players are really thriving on playing in this competition. They all want to be a part of it. The managers want to see what they've got at their disposal. So they've freshened it up. Let's see what they can bring to the table.
Caballero, another mistake. Allows Inter the chance to try and get forward with one of their subs, Yann Caramo, who's just come on, the 20-year-old Frenchman who's just started a second season on loan from Caen. Here he is on the ball again with that distinctive ponytail tied behind his back. I should mention Tammy Abraham is also on for Chelsea. He was in that flurry that came on. This is a chance for Inter. It was a rather poor first touch, and in the end the shot was blocked by Antonio Rudiger. Ranocchia is also on for Inter Milan. He's a central defender.
Great tackle. Super tackle by Rudiger. And he had to put his body on the line. Stayed strong. Kept himself as big as he possibly could. It's an excellent charge.
Majroric has also come on, an 18-year-old Slovenian for Inter Milan, as Luciano Spalletti begins to ring the changes. They're up to 4 substitutes now. Martinez, Ranocchio, Roric and Karamo are on for them. Well, we're beyond the 3/4 point in the match. Remember that only victories inside 90 minutes will give you 3 points. You'll only get 2 if you win on a penalty shootout. Arsenal were big winners earlier today with a 5-1 win over Paris Saint-Germain under new boss Unai Emery. Here's Tammy Abraham for Chelsea. Excellent snapshot on the turn, well saved by Handanovic. Well, Tammy Abraham had a prolific season 2 seasons ago with Bristol City, less so with Swansea in the last campaign, but he looked sharp there.
What a great first touch. Uses his strength, great ability. Only the last line up front. You've got to try and create that opportunity, that little half a yard of space for yourself. The ball gets driven into him. Chops it to the side, onto his stronger right foot. Great strike. And a very good save.
Oh, an England international as well, of course. Played in the goalless draws against Germany and Brazil last autumn. Good first little passage of play from him. Monsieur Renville has refereed it sensibly and is calling a halt to proceedings in the warm and sultry night of Nice to enable the players to get some liquid on board. Willy Caballero very sensibly has stuck one behind the goalpost, so he doesn't need to walk across to the side and pick up a bottle there. Means we can all pause and take a little breath here with 20 minutes to go. Clock will continue running. They normally add on about 3 minutes for these sort of breaks. Let's have a look at Inter's goal again. Icardi did well. Caballero, was he in the wrong position perhaps? I mean, he hasn't had a great game and clipped off his flailing leg, didn't it, from Gagliardini? He'd gone across quite a long way to his left.
It surprises me that, you know, we're talking about such an experienced man in that goal now for Chelsea. And he's getting his positioning wrong. The balls came to him 2 or 3 times. He looks very, very shaky. A couple of occasions he could have saved it and kept hold of it with his hands. He's tried to play it out from the back on 2 occasions. He's got that completely wrong. He's put the back 4 under a lot of pressure. And eventually, this is where the goals come from. Gagliardini with a super strike, take nothing away from him, getting them back level to 1-1. I think you have to question the goalkeeper.
Yeah. Antonio Rudiger was having a word with him just a moment ago. Rudiger, one of the flurry of substitutions that have been made in this second half. The hugely disappointed German squad who've trooped back from Russia rather earlier than they'd hoped. There's Jorginho. And now Drinkwater. This is Victor Moses. He's another who's going to have to adjust his position, isn't he, in this new 4 at the back with Sarri. Obviously, he played on the right-hand side as part of a 4. So I suppose, is he a full-back or is he a wide midfield player?
That's a big question over somebody like Moses, because you know he's got that great ability driving forward, and in a wing-back position that can help you out, because that is your job, first and foremost, is to try and get forward into that final third and create opportunities. But if he's not going to be playing as a right back, which you wouldn't expect him to, because, you know, first and foremost, he's not a defender. He likes to get forward, so he's got to try and take up that position as a wide right, if you like, or one of the 3 in midfield, and use his pace. It might be a little bit more difficult for him to get into the team this season.
Yeah, there'll be a few thinking perhaps about what their futures might be. That was nicely done by Lautaro Martinez, who's been lively since he came on at half-time, although the ball has just gone out of play. Chelsea finished 5th in the Premier League last season, only the second time out of the top 3 in the last 6 seasons, although of course they did win the FA Cup. Penalty by a man who's still on his break after an excellent World Cup, Eden Hazard, although it still remains to be seen whether Real Madrid get their wish as far as that's concerned.
They normally do.
Well, he's got quite an act to follow if he does go there, doesn't he? So it's almost possible to imagine Real Madrid without Ronaldo.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he had an outstanding World Cup, Eden Hazard. You know, he really showed the world what he's all about. We see on a regular basis great ability when he picks up that ball, the threat that he brings to a side. You know, he can win games single-handedly, and that's the type of player that he's going to have to be if, and it is if at the moment, if he does sign for Real Madrid, because the guy that he's replacing, 40, 45 goals a season for what, the last 8 or 9.
Incredible.
It's going to take some doing.
Pace has slowed a little bit here in this International Champions Cup debut for these two clubs for 2018. Here's Danny Drinkwater. Wasn't that far away. Handanovic knew there was plenty of pace on that, but was fortunate, or rather relieved, to see it go wide.
We've seen this from Danny Drinkwater on a few occasions. When he gets a sight of that goal, 25, 30 yards out, now he's got the quality. Great strike. Handanovic wasn't too sure if it was just going to creep in that near post until he went wide, but a really good opportunity.
Yeah, he's only ever once scored for Chelsea. That was in a 5-0 thrashing of Stoke in December.
That was a big long.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yarder, I think, as well, John.
They do tend to be, don't they, with him? When he hits them well. Here's Jorginho, who, along with Rob Green, is the only player coming into Chelsea so far this summer. Here's Hudson-Odoi. Emerson, the left fullback, has lost it now, and it's with Caramo. It's a useful-looking ball in towards Lautaro Martinez, but it was good cover in the end by Azpilicueta, but a corner.
Good defending. Azpilicueta reads the situation well. Great through ball. Martinez trying to get on the end of it. He's just drifting away from the pace when he makes that run, that 1v1 situation. And Azpilicueta, probably one of the best 1v1 defenders in the Premier League. He's just showed why. Great quality.
Didn't get a single minute for Spain in the World Cup. Here's the corner. Caballero shouts keeper and punches. And it drops on the edge of the box. But not quite right for Maj Joric, the teenage Slovenian, who saw his shot blocked. It's loose, and Chelsea might profit here. Here's Hudson-Odoi, looking to attack his man. Lovely skill by him. Just sets it up to the far post towards Victor Moses. And the defensive header was away by Dalbert.
Great ability again. Hudson-Odoi, you know, he's so confident. Left foot, right foot. He's a defender's nightmare. You never know which way he's going to go. This one, great little step over. Got to be careful with those challenges in the 18-yard box. There's a lovely little dink ball to the back stick. I think we might see a little bit more than that young man this season.
Yes,
absolutely fantastic player.
I hope so. He's been brilliant whenever I've seen him. It was lovely the way he just hung it up there. Chelsea have a 6th corner. Here he is again, Hudson-Odoi, and again he's going to the byline. This time he's only managed to find Caramo, who clears. But, interesting that Having seen him create that chance, they took the corner short to try and give him another.
Why not? If you're full of confidence, get him on the ball as much as you possibly can.
There's D'Ambrosio. A bit of covering by Tammy Abraham there, all the way back from centre forward. That will be noted by the manager, won't it? That sort of hunger at this stage.
Absolutely, absolutely. You start defending from the front. If Tammy Abrahams is willing to work back to help out his full back, if he's got the opportunity to track back and win the ball back the way he did.
He's only actually made 2 appearances for Chelsea back in 2016. Had an enormously successful spell at Bristol City. Couldn't stop scoring in the Championship. Less so, of course, last season with Swansea, who were relegated.
Yeah, but they seem to do that with a lot of their players, John, don't they? They bring a lot of young guys into the team. You know, we've seen the success they've had in the Youth Cup over the years. I think it's 4 out of the last 5, and people like Tammy Abrahams has gone out and got that experience that you need over the last few seasons. Maybe this is his time.
Yeah, he only got 1 goal in his last 14 appearances for Swansea. Couldn't help them survive. But, well, he's shown at both ends good glimpses tonight. A shot on the turn which was saved, and then very selfless run back to help out his defenders. Inter have a free kick, which Politano at the moment is standing over. Seems to be too much enthusiasm to get forward by the Italians at the moment to maybe get on the end of this. A few of them now have arrived. Here's Caramo, headed behind by Cesar Azpilicueta. We were talking about him earlier, Mickey. I mean, he's the sort of player I think who can turn back from a centre-half into a full-back without any problem at all.
I think he'd probably be their #1 right back. Whether they bring anybody else in this transfer window is yet to be seen. Like I said, 1v1 situations as a defender, I don't think there's any better.
Here's the corner, flicked away again by Abraham, defending well. Caramo not shooting well, though, off the side of his boot and long way wide.
Well, Caramo showed us some good ability since he's came onto the field. Looks very adept on that right-hand side. He's got good ability, good pace, some nice skills. I think he's got himself into a few positions where he's had shooting opportunities and hasn't really got that potent threat as of yet from what we've seen.
Here's Bakayoko. Now drink water. 10 minutes to go. Otherwise, if they don't score, it'll be a penalty shootout at the Allianz Riviera. Here's Abraham. Into trouble, but I think it was overzealous, the challenge. It'll be a free kick to Chelsea. Foul was by Majoric. Combative central midfield player, but too much so on that occasion. This is Rudiger. Azpilicueta. Jorginho. Now then, Hudson-Odoi with another chance to stretch his legs, perhaps. Not enjoyed facing him. Into defence. Here's Jorginho! It was almost a glorious goal on debut, but it was palmed away by Handanovic. Lovely strike by the new signing, and a good save by the keeper too.
Well, super play again from Hudson-Odoi. Drifted back across to this left-hand side. Great ability, just a little simple pass inside. Jorginho, one touch out of his feet. He knows exactly what he wants to do. He's trying to play it into the top left-hand corner. Gets everything right. Super save.
Rudiger with the header. One of the cannons into Christensen, who can't control the follow-up. He's not renowned as a goal scorer. Jorginho, only 6 in 160 appearances for Napoli, but he had the ability there to produce a very worthwhile effort. And he might have won it for Chelsea, as it is. We have 8 minutes to go. And another penalty shootout looming in the International Champions Cup. Substitutions to be made by Inter, and indeed by Chelsea. 32 is Lucas Piazon, a Brazilian midfield player, coming on for Inter. Zappa, I think, is the player who's come on. Salcedo is also going to come on. Vladan Dekic, I should say, is coming on along with Eddie Salcedo. Now, Salcedo's an interesting one. He's on loan from Genoa, just 16 years old, but he made his Serie A debut at the age of 15 for Genoa against Sassuolo. And the rumour is that Inter may be willing to pay up to 15 million euros for him. He's wearing number 74, if you want to look out for him. He's one of the big hopes of Italian football, though his parents are Colombian. Here he is. It's a nice first touch. Cross towards Caramo. And again, looks so good this time, trying to cushion his header, I think, in towards the penalty spot area, where Asamoah was waiting but didn't reach him. Do you get the feeling that either of these sides have what it takes to win this game and spare us a penalty shootout, or I suppose delight us with a penalty shootout, depending on which way you look at it?
Both sides will go for it. There's no doubt about it. They want to try and get that second and all-important winning goal if they possibly can. Both sides have had opportunities in this second half. Lots of changes, fresher legs on the field.
Strong run by Victor Moses. That's nicely worked. And Chelsea have a chance here. The cross was flashed in by Emerson, and it didn't quite reach Tammy Abraham, who was beaten to the punch by a backpedaling defender.
What an opportunity. Great ball in from Emerson down that left-hand side. And it was as if Tammy Abraham actually got into the area too quickly. He was waiting for the cross to come.
Yeah.
He eventually had to do a pirouette, like thing, as if he turned his body around to try and steer it into the goal.
Lucas Piazon, one of the substitutes, was involved in that move. He's had recent loans at Fulham and Reading. Another who hasn't really ever broken into the genuine reckoning at Chelsea, so this may be an opportunity. This is Antonio Rudiger, and now Christensen. It's a terribly good ball, and it's nicked away by Salcedo, who's on his bike again. 16 years of age, remember, it's a very good run. He almost got taken down by his own momentum rather than anything else there, but rather like Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's of a similar age, he looks a pacey and confident customer, doesn't he? And no wonder he's making so many waves in Italian football at the moment.
Very unfortunate not to pick up a foul just outside of the 18-yard box. I think it was Asper Lequeta who brought him down. Looks full of confidence. Can't even remember what I was doing when I was 16 years old, John. So, full credit to the young man. You can see where all the hype was coming from. He's got all of the ability in the world. Came to nothing in the end. Eventually, Chelsea break up the other end. We now have a foul.
I was buying records by the Sex Pistols when I was 16.
Ah, well, there you go.
My football career was already behind me. Never made the grade. This is the next best thing.
Absolutely.
Bakayoko brought down there by D'Ambrosio. This was the run by the young Salcedo. He's been eye-catching since he came on.
It was just a little shove. I think it was Danny Drinkwater who just made contact with the side of his body, but you can see when Salcedo picks the ball up, He just wants to drive at defenders. He's got that confidence to take players on. He's kind of out there at the moment, 16 years of age. Won't even know what fear is. Just wants to go out and enjoy his football. Excellent running. And he caused defenders huge amount of problems. And let's say for the next 20 years, because that's how long he's going to be around.
Yeah. Andreas Christensen's picked up an injury for Chelsea, which nobody wants to see with the new season just around the corner. It's as if the Danish international is going to be okay. He's up on his feet at least. Only a couple of minutes plus stoppage time to try and sort out a winner in regulation time. Doesn't look very happy, does he, Christensen? He's labouring, rather favouring his left ankle. Looks like to be the problem area for him. Just come back from the World Cup, of course. Are you surprised to see some of these Chelsea players back in action so soon? I mean, the final was only 13 days ago.
I am, if I'm totally honest with you. I'm really surprised. It's obviously, you know, the players now, once they've had a break of a couple of weeks, they're ready to go again. You know, they're so fit, powerful and strong now. They probably get itchy feet. They have a holiday. They'll probably get away for a week. But when they see, and this is something that I mentioned to you before, you know, about playing in a competition like this before the season starts, most players want to be a part of it. They want to get back involved in the dressing room. They want to get back involved in the pre-season. And these games now, with having a competition like this, they all want a part of it. And Christensen's obviously one of those players, and full credit to him for that. But sometimes maybe another week rest would do you no harm. But they all want to be back. They all want to be playing. And they want to get involved as quick as they can.
It's the first thing that occurs to you, though, isn't it, when he goes down? You think, you know, he's been through a World Cup. I know he obviously didn't go all the way like some of his teammates, but
have you given your
played
body
at that
rest?
level? Yeah, for, you know, the season is finished for him in mid-July, early July. It's not a huge break, is it? Anyway, he's on the ball now and he's fine. That's the main thing.
Whereas if I got 5 weeks, John, I wanted 7. It's changed now.
I hear you're still fighting fit and playing tomorrow. Is that true?
I try my best, yeah. I'm playing a charity game. I am indeed, yeah. I always like playing once in a while.
And Great North Run again for you this season as well.
For my sins, yes.
Yeah. That's a foul by Jorginho. We're into a couple of minutes to be added on at the end. It looks like penalties at the moment. Well, we had penalties in the game that Mickey and I watched the other night between Benfica and Dortmund, when Benfica were 2-0 down, looked out of it and ended up winning the game on penalties. So maybe Inter will feel that they can complete a comeback here, having conceded so early. This is Caramo. They not need penalties. Caballero, good save from the shot by Martinez.
Wow. Very well worked, Martinez. He's on the move. Nice little ball into the area. Most players would probably try and take a touch in that situation, but he's got the instinct to just have a shot on goal. What a wonderful strike, and I have to say a superb save from Caballero too.
Here's the corner. This time Martinez not able to connect. It was well defended, but that was a very, very good chance. And as you say, Caballero hasn't necessarily covered himself with glory all evening, but made a really good save there. Excellent effort by Lautaro Martinez. Skriniar. Just a reminder, no extra time. We will go straight to a penalty shootout, and there'll be 2 points for the winners and 1 point for the losers at the conclusion of that. Here's Drinkwater. Have Chelsea got one more iron in the fire? Maybe not. Well, Martinez has been an extremely lively substitute. He's on the move again, and Christensen has kept up with him, but again that injury has flared up. He's only got a few seconds to keep moving, but that doesn't look great. He's almost unable to move at the moment. You can see him there just to the right of your picture, hobbling in the penalty area.
I just wonder, this is what makes you wonder whether players come back too early.
Well, that is full time and it's one apiece, so we have a penalty shootout to entertain us with. Whether Andreas Christensen will want to be involved in that or not, I don't know, because he's down injured at the moment. The two goalkeepers, of course, will take centre stage now. Pedro on his 31st birthday put Chelsea ahead after only 8 minutes, but it only took 3 minutes of the second half for Inter to equalise through Roberto